busiest time of the year for Manchester Airport, with hundreds of thousands of passengers passing through these terminals over the next few weeks. These are the people who keep the airport running and the planes safely flying, but they're jobs you might not have thought existed.
Our job basically is to try and keep the airfield clear of birds, so therefore we have the enviable task of driving around all day, scaring birds.
And this is why Paul's job is so important. This bird strike happened here in 2007. Luckily, the plane landed safely and no one, bar the bird, were hurt. But it's Paul's job to prevent it happening in the first place. And they've got various methods to do that.
We have speakers on top of the vehicle here with digital distress signals.
And that's the actual sound of a bird?
Yeah.
If that doesn't work, they can use a gun.
We do have a very pistol, which is like a starting pistol. We don't fire them at the birds, we fire them in between the aircraft and the birds to get the birds airborne and away. And we've cleared the airfield of birds again.
Well done.
Another job well done.
Of course, one of the most effective tools they have is a lot more simple.
We would make sure there was nothing taking off the runway, and all we'd do is just clap our hands and just make a nuisance of ourselves. Come on, 1, 2, 3, go on. And then if they're stubborn and they don't wish to move, then we frighten them by flapping our arms and making a nuisance of ourselves. Now, this is serious training, this, and all it is, it's a case of running at the birds like this.
Just wandering around the airport, people will ask you absolutely everything. The number of people who expect me to know everything there is to know about car parks is incredible.
George Lane is one of the chaplains at Manchester Airport.
I would say 9 out of 10 people respond as though it's the most natural thing in the world to see a vicar wandering around an airport.
With 20,000 people working here and another 20 million passengers passing through, George and the other faith leaders offer something slightly different.
This is the Terminal 3 prayer room, the oldest one in the airport, and it's used as a multi-faith prayer room. The airport is a place on the edge. People come to the airport at significant moments of their lives, and airports are busy places. Having somewhere where you can just stop and be quiet, be with God, is something that's really valuable to people of all faiths. We don't spend all our time in the prayer rooms waiting for people to come to us. This is where most of our ministry takes place, really, which is around the terminals. We may be talking to staff, maybe passengers. Your name is?
Joan.
Joan.
Yeah.
Safe journey, Joan.
Thank you.
Where are you off to? Somewhere nice?
Florida.
Oh, wonderful. How are sales?
Meanwhile, back on the airfield, it's up to this man to make sure the runways are clear and safe.
Primarily we're looking for any debris that's left on the runway, and that could be grass cuttings, bags, rubbish. It may be tyre debris from a departing aircraft, or it could be remains of wildlife.
They do 5 runway inspections every 24 hours, a vital job. It was debris on the runway that caused the Concorde disaster 13 years ago.
Tower Ops 3 is holding Alpha 1.
Alpha 1, enter runway 05 left.
Okay, so you can see on the approach there's no aircraft coming down, so we've got this 6-minute gap in traffic. One pass down the runway, literally looking for something that may be as small as a nut. It can be tiny.
Talking of tiny, I bet you didn't know there's a nursery here at the airport.
Can go to Spain.
How much does it cost, that ticket?
So many people are at the airport with children that they need that childcare to be able to go back to work. You get to see the planes every day, you know, having fun watching the planes and just learning all about them.
Of course, when you fly into Manchester, your plane needs to get to the right stand. And that's all down to these guys up in the control centre and marshals like Peter.
Quite privileged to have this job. You get to see quite a few rock stars and footballers one day. So the Range Rover and Prince William was driving, and he waved at me, and I thought, oh my God.
There are 2 systems of getting the planes onto their stand. The Safe Dock system, a digital tool that guides the planes in without the need of a man on the ground, but they can also do it the old-fashioned way.
There's the Virgin Atlantic A320. We're waiting for it to cross the runway and then I'll marshal it on.
And using coloured bats, he gives a series of hand signals to guide the pilot in.
So when we bring the aircraft on, then it's down to the turnaround crews to do their job. So you've got the unloading and loading of the baggage. You've got the fueler there, he's fueling the aircraft. It's a very smooth operation.
So just how would I fare at marshalling myself?
Both arms raised in the air, identifies which line it is.
Okay.
And then you point down the line with your right arm.
Like that?
Then you start to do your marshalling signals and bring him on. And then you want him to turn left, you put your right arm out and you bring the left arm in.
Okay.
And then as the aircraft approaches the mark you want him to stop at, you slow your motions down and then you cross your hands.
It's just like doing a dance, isn't it?
Just pop your first case in the belt for me, please. How many cases are you checking in today?
Almost 20 million passengers pass through Manchester Airport every year. With them comes a lot of bags, all that have to find their way to the right place.
The baggage systems these days, they're like a baggage factory almost. The security side, where we make sure that the bag is safe for carriage, we then pass it over to the sortation side where we deliver it to the correct chute so it can be loaded onto the aircraft.
Most of it's automated, but behind the scenes there's a team monitoring the whole operation.
It's effectively a roadmap of the baggage system. We can see where the bags have come from, where the bags are going to, so if there's any blockages or stoppages around the system, they'll be able to send one of our engineering staff to go and clear the blockage so keep the bags flowing again smoothly.
Morning. Would you like to put your bag on?
Yeah.
So to see how it works, we've attached a little camera to my bag and we're going to follow just where it goes. So behind the check-in desks, it goes straight to the first security scan, where they're checking for explosives. If they need further investigation, they're sent to this next scanner.
These machines, again, they're the same as the CT machines you have in hospitals that can look deep inside the body. We've just tuned ours looking for other items. If these clear the bags, they go straight to sortation. If these hang on to their bags, this is when we hold onto the image for the operator to make a decision on whether the bag's clear for travel or not.
Once they are clear, they travel along a complex network of chutes and conveyor belts, lasers reading the tags to decide exactly where they need to go. Loaded onto carts and onto the plane. But it's not just scanners that the airport relies on for security. They also use sniffer dogs.
If you can imagine coming in without dogs and trying to search everyone in the airport and all the building itself, how much time that would take, the dogs minimise that time greatly. They've got a fantastic nose, they can smell anything we train them to find, and they love doing it.
For them, it's a game. They're trained to associate drugs or explosives with a tennis ball.
Now we're just going to do a little training exercise with Maria's help. I'm going to give her the drugs in the handbag, and she's going to act as a stooge and hide amongst these passengers over there, and we're going to go and find you.
So, as Maria joins the queue, Scooby is brought in.
He's going to go along all the bags and he checks each bag. It might look that he's not checking, but he's looking for the scent. And when he finds what he's looking for, which in this case will be drugs, he just sits and he stirs at whatever the item is he believes to be drugs. He'll then get a reward, which is his tennis ball. Just do your bags. Go on, mate, good lad. Good lad. Cheers, pal, thank you. Come on, Scoob. Just do your bags. Scooby, Scooby. Good boy.
And that's a result.
Good lad.
But sniffer dogs aren't the only animals you'll find at the airport. In fact, now with the introduction of pet passports, you can even transport your pets through Manchester without a lengthy stay in quarantine. This is Pets on Jets, the first service outside of London that'll import your cat, dog or ferret from abroad.
They want to be with their animals all the time. They don't want to be leaving them in a kennel. They'll be missing them and stuff like that. And a lot of cats and dogs, do like to be on holiday, but I have had a ferret in that was drunk. But that's because the owner had said, you know, it does like a tipple, you know, and it was just really, really funny. I've had a three-legged cat, and we do see the odd football star.
Today they're awaiting a dog called Santa, whose owners are moving back from Tenerife.
Our daughter found the dog wandering in the street outside. It had been thrown out of a car. It was in a bad way. They'd sort of fallen in love with her, and we decided then to keep her. This is the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle, really bringing back our dog.
As soon as her plane touches down, she's transported over.
One pet's passport.
A thorough check of the paperwork and her microchip, and Santa is ready to be reunited.
Oh, there you go.
And that's another precious cargo safely transported. Mel Barham, ITV News, Manchester Airport. You may think they spend their day doing this, but this is the reality. Like regular firefighters, the team here at Manchester Airport are on 24-hour standby in case of an emergency. But that's where the similarities end.
Completely different jobs. We respect the job that local authority fire service do, and we very much work together with local authority fire service. In the aviation world, the fire service, it's all about responding very quickly to an aircraft. Lots of fuel on board, we need to get to that aircraft very, very quickly.
The last major incident here at Manchester was back in 1985. A fire on board a British Air Tours flight killed 54 people. But while incidents like that are rare, there's plenty to keep these guys busy.
We'll come and do a drill, loads of training. Obviously in between that we do get aircraft shouts and domestic calls as well. We cover all the terminals and a lot of the roads around the airport.
On average, we're probably looking at 2 to 3 aircraft-related emergencies per week. They can be for things like hydraulic problems, engine problems, bird strikes, which are quite common at any airfield. Fortunately, aircraft incidents are few and far between, so a lot of our day-to-day routine and night routine revolves around training.
Airport Fire Service.
And that's exactly what they've agreed to simulate for us.
05 left, 757 with a hydraulic problem. Oh, thank you, bye-bye. Where's the message? The local standby for 757, landing 0905 and 05 left.
As soon as the alarm's raised, they have just 2 minutes to get to the incident.
It's really hectic, everyone's running into each other, getting dressed, the adrenaline's going. You pull out of the station, all the blue lights and all the sirens going, and obviously you're getting dressed on the way, but all the time you're listening to the radio, trying to get any updates of what's happening, getting your BA set on, and then once you get to the standby positions, we'll just sit there and wait for the aircraft. So the adrenaline's going quite a bit.
Base Fire 2 in attendance, aircraft accident.
And this is their training simulator, otherwise known as the Big Rig. It's one of the largest in Europe, and I'm just about to be rescued from inside.
Ready? I'm ready.
I'm sitting in a replica airline seat as they simulate a cabin fire. While this may look dramatic, the fires are controlled electronically, but they're real flames, and that really is hot. As soon as the exercise is over, they can turn the fire off as simply as turning a switch.
This training is designed to replicate various different scenarios that can be encountered by aircraft, either arriving or departing from airfields. We use it to train our own staff, but we also use it to train firefighters from all around the world.
And with a safety record they're proud of, it's good to know that while we hopefully will never need them, They're there on standby every second of the day. Mel Barham, ITV News, Manchester Airport. With Manchester home to 60 airlines flying to around 200 different destinations, skies above the northwest are pretty busy. And this year there's been a new addition to the airport. It cost £20 million and took just 9 days to erect. This is the new control tower at Manchester Airport, its new window on the world. Opened just last month, it gives a 360-degree panoramic view of the runways. From this position, 60 feet up, the 80-strong team control the airspace above Manchester. But have you ever wondered just how they do it?
Runway 23 right, you are clear to land. The surface wind is 270 degrees at 7.
Gone are the days of paper slips. Now they have bespoke touch screens with the most advanced technology in the UK.
We have automatic landing systems, we have radar systems that look both in the sky and also at the surface. We also now have electronic strips, and that system will talk direct to the cockpit of aircraft and pass messages without anybody speaking.
They can land up to 32 aircraft an hour using both runways here, an operation that runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
The traffic never presents itself in the same way 2 days running. So, and the weather can play a big part of it. If we come in, it's foggy, we know we're going to be working very hard. It's just a very interesting job.
And this is the air traffic control simulator. They use it to train controllers before they let them loose with live traffic. And today, it's my turn.
Okay, so you're going to show me how it's done and give me a little lesson.
Yes, we'll try and do that, yeah.
Okay.
So what we're going to do here, we're going to have a go at turning some of the aeroplanes and putting them on the instrument landing system, which is what we do.
So, after a bit of training, I'm ready to have a go.
So the Jersey 735 are going to call you very shortly, and you need to transfer them to the tower.
This localised runway 23 right.
Okay, Jersey 7355, contact tower 118.625.
Roger, tower 118.625, Jersey 7355.
So the next thing we say to him is shuttle to Papa, cleared ILS 23 right.
Cleared what?
ILS.
It's not easy. This is like a completely different language. Okay, shuttle to Papa, cleared ILS, runway 23R. Right.
So close.
OK, so that's definitely not for me. But the team here certainly needs to be on the ball. With up to 600 planes taking off and landing here every day, Manchester's the busiest UK airport behind Heathrow and Gatwick. It's also the first regional airport to welcome this, the world's largest commercial airliner, the Airbus A380. And just a few weeks back, it also welcomed this beast. With 32 wheels and a wingspan of 290 feet, the Antonov 225 is the biggest and heaviest plane in the world. Talking of big, have you ever wondered just how large the hangars need to be for when the planes get serviced? Well, here you go. This is one of 5 hangars at Manchester. So big, you could fit 10 Olympic-sized swimming pools inside.
This hangar can hold up to 4 planes at any one time. They come in here for maintenance, like this A320, which has come in for a service, a bit like an MOT. More than 50 people will work on it over the next 12 hours for this plane and its passengers fly out tomorrow morning.
Jason, it's this one.
They do these checks every 3 months, with other inspections even more regularly, ensuring the next time you get on a plane, everything should be in working order. Mel Barham, ITV News, Manchester Airport.
Where is it you're travelling to today?
More than 3 million passengers will pass through Manchester over the next 6 weeks. This, the busiest time for the airport.
We're going to Yemen, me and the family, we're all going for a wedding.
My wedding. This is my first time in 40 years, and I've come back with my dad and my 2 children to show where I lived when I was a baby.
I've flown from Beijing to Toronto, Toronto to Manchester.
On your own?
On my own.
Of course, the passenger experience has changed dramatically since this place opened 75 years ago. From a terminal with just one restaurant and an open terrace to watch the planes, to now with a huge choice of shops and restaurants, but with heightened security. Every pocket is catered for, from the budget to some serious luxury.
Hello, welcome to the Escape Lounge. If you want to come in. We've got a range of complimentary snacks and beverages. We've got a quiet, snug area if you want to relax. If you've got some last minute work to do, we've got complimentary Wi-Fi. And when all the work's done, you can sit down and enjoy the view and watch the planes. And this is very special. This is actually the Royal Lounge, which the Queen and other dignitaries use if they're flying through Manchester. And this is the guest book, which all sorts of people have signed, from people like the Dalai Lama. On this page, even William and Kate.
The location of this lounge is a closely guarded secret, with only very few employees having a key. And it's about to undergo a bit of a makeover. With Kate and William regular flyers from Manchester when they're based in Anglesey, the airport's now about to get this lounge baby ready, with a crib, teddy bear and changing facilities. Of course, the Royals are no strangers to Manchester Airport.
These new runways and terminal buildings are now the gateway to the world for this, the industrial heart of Britain.
Prince Philip was here to open the new Terminal 1 building back in 1962. But Manchester Airport, or rather Ringway as it was known back then, actually opened 75 years ago.
Well, we have here the Book of Operations of the airport, and this is from 1938 when the airport opened. And if we open the page here, we can see June the 25th, 1938. That's the first flight that operated here. And the flight was to Liverpool, Speke, and then Blackpool, and then a request stop in Doncaster. And it then went on to Amsterdam.
It's incredible. So you can just see it there, can't you? That's just one day's worth.
Just one day, yeah. It's just 10 flights in a day compared to 600 today.
Since then, things have changed quite a bit.
This is quite an iconic picture with these chandeliers.
Yeah, I think when people think of Manchester Airport, they think of the chandeliers. They were there for about 40 years, those chandeliers, and the terminals themselves have continuously evolved and developed over the years.
Now, with 3 terminals and 2 runways, Manchester's the busiest airport behind Heathrow and Gatwick. But how does it compare to other regional airports across the world?
It's convenient. You don't usually get much queuing. I like it, it's good.
I'm very proud of Manchester Airport. It's a big airport. When I bring foreign visitors in, they're pretty much impressed. The only downer I've got is the fact that they charge foreign travellers coming in for their trolleys.
Prefer Terminal 3 to Terminal 1. You seem to get through a lot quicker.
In Leeds Bradford, I found that there wasn't much besides a cafe, whereas here you can go around looking in out shops and everything.
It's great for the economy. It certainly does boost Manchester, doesn't it?
We moved to Lisbon a year ago. I didn't really notice any difference, but the passport control here in Manchester smiled and had a chat with us, where they don't usually.
It's brought the world to Manchester, commerce, international visitors, and it's allowed people from the northwest to explore the world further, faster than their forefathers could probably ever have imagined was possible.